What's up? What's up? Peace to the family, peace to the family, to everyone across the globe. This is Adrian X Maya, aka AD. Welcome to the Adrian X Maya Enlightenment channel, where we bring forth information to put you in information, and we give you knowledge and common sense, so you'll know not to step over the cliff or the edge of the mountain or whatever. So we're here today to talk about the second part of the 48 laws of power reversal. But before we actually get into that, I want to read an African proverb, and then I also want to edify myself on the first video. I had discussed a few things that I want to just kind of edify. I wrote them down so that way I can kind of like go over those things. So give me one moment, actually. So when we go to the law 14, number 14 was no hypocrisy. I want to kind of talk about the law of soul evolution. I want to read that because I had mentioned I was going to read it in the video, but I didn't even get a chance to read it because my thoughts was coming, and then I realized looking at the video that I didn't even read it. So let me actually read that to you guys so you can see how that ties into law number 14, which was no hypocrisy. So let me edify myself real quick. Hold on real quick too. Okay, so the law of soul evolution states everyone on earth shares the goal of soul evolution, whether they realize it or not. We have reincarnated because we desire to evolve spiritually by rising above our fear-based emotions, and is in doing so learning how to express unconditional love. We raise our vibrational rate and move closer to a state of harmony. Even where it appears that we're not evolving, we are in reality making progress. We learn through the pain of our disharmonious actions, which can be viewed as our mistakes or our failures. This is the law of soul evolution. Okay, so that ties into the law of wisdom and what I brought forth in the previous video. I wanted to touch on that. And then I want to also touch on, go back to the go beyond politics. I want to kind of talk about that again, by stating, like, you can keep a group of people oppressed for the long run, you know what I'm saying, by giving them the illusion of choice. So you give them the illusion that they can change their circumstances. You know what I'm saying? If they use the apparatus that's set up by their oppressors or their enemies or their opposers. So we got to understand that when we say go beyond politics, we're not saying it to be like, you know what I'm saying, shun politics because we're just shunning them. We shunning them because they're giving us false hope, and they're presenting and throwing out false prophets and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? So having said that, you have this apparatus that you're using that's set up by the oppressors and by the operatives that their oppressors put them, you know, that those oppressors put those operatives out there like that, you know what I'm saying? And then most of the time people just fall for it, you know what I'm saying, because it's the same hat trick that's being played on us, you know what I'm saying. They do the same hat trick. They create the problem, they come in like superheroes, and they try to save the day, and then they make it seem like they created a solution, but really that solution is really poison. You get what I'm saying? So the that's the power, that's the importance of just going beyond politics. You get what I'm saying? You want to make sure you go beyond politics and stay grassroots as possible, you know what I'm saying? So and then what makes it worse, I want to say something to the nature of what King has said. He said something to the nature, it's one thing that we have violence and corruption and all these different things going on. Yeah, that stuff happens, but it's even worse that good people or righteous people watch the stuff happen. You get what I'm saying? So it's one thing that the bad people are doing it, but it's even far greater that you got people that's supposed to be good, or they supposed to be a representation of righteousness, and they just sit by and just let stuff happen. And that's not how reality works. You get what I'm saying? So we have to understand why we must go beyond politics. You get what I'm saying? And go beyond self-interest, because Machiavellian politics and the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, they teach you the opposite of that. They teach you to just keep on lying and cheating and doing favors and doing all these different things. And you don't need to be doing all that. You get what I'm saying? So that's the importance of that. You get what I'm saying? So, and even going back to that, you know what I'm saying? Most of the time, again, people go for it because it's a hell of a lot easier to choose the lesser of two evils. It's easy to choose the lesser of two evils. You get what I'm saying? Why would we choose rotten eggs or dog shit? Neither one of those are good choices. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not choosing rotten eggs, or I'm not choosing to eat dog shit, because that's not real choices. You get what I'm saying? you know, we gotta put in the hard work that's necessary to give ourselves a good option. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Because that's what moral people and righteous people do. They do that instead of giving the choice where it feels like there's the illusion of inclusion that I was laughing and poking fun of last time in the first video. But yeah, you have to create a good option. You know what I'm saying? And that starts with the grassroots. That's not going to start with the status quo because they're too busy. Uh, they're hungry for power. They're going to always stay in power, so they're not going to put their self interest on the back burner to save the people. That's not what they're going to do. It's going to look like it, but it's not really power because they all they're doing is practicing witchcraft and Machiavellian politics, having a heart of a lion but being cunning as a fox. You get what I'm saying? So that's what we're dealing with. You get what I'm saying? That's what we're dealing with. So having said that, you know, we want to choose a good option, and then after this revolution, this spiritual revolution, this physical revolution that takes place, you know what I'm saying, that's going to happen in the ideas. It's going to happen in the ideas once those ideas have become materialized and once they have become physicality, and that comes in institutions. And that's what Gustav Le Bon was talking about in this book. He said something similar to the nature of that too, that characteristics and stuff are in the institutions of man. It's not just the man himself or the legacy of the man himself that lives on. It's the institutionalized ideas of that man because they have become materialized. You know what I'm saying? His ideas have become thought forms that are actually materialized into something. You get what I'm saying? So that's what that is. So we just got to be mindful of frauds, fakes, phonies, false prophets, and fools because for me personally, I'm not a political consultant by any means. However, I want to give you some sound, righteous advice because in order to run a successful political campaign, you want to at least have 2 to 5 years of you commuting with the grassroots people. You know what I'm saying? You want to know your enemy in and out, like the art of war. You want to study the terrain. You want to study how many people he got, resources and things of that sort. What areas to go in and what areas not to go in, and what best suit for you to take place when it's time to battle. But you have to organize yourself properly before you go out and battle. And you can't foolishly just go out looking for fights and you're not prepared for it. You get what I'm saying? So you have to understand that, and you have to understand when to speak and when not to speak. You get what I'm saying? So you have to practice Machiavellian politics on your enemy. If anything, if I'm going to urge somebody to practice Machiavellian politics, they need to do it on their enemies that are trying to cause hurt, harm, and danger to not only them, but also their family. You get what I'm saying? That's the time you need to do it. So if we want to be frank, you know what I'm saying? Now, granted, like I said before, there's times where you must do the polar opposite of something at times. And I also wanted to say this before I, keep on going with this part. When I was talking in my first video, a lot of the stuff that I say is tongue in cheek. So I'm a laugh, I'm a clown, and be expressive and animated and things of that sort to keep y'all interested. And I call it edutainment, entertainment and education at the same time. But I don't like the term education, ironically. But anyway, I'm saying that all to say is don't take my words to be like too hard. You know what I'm saying? It's all tongue in cheek. It's all just fun. It's all to laugh, to make you laugh and keep you entertained. I don't want to bore you, but at the same time, I want to give you some really good knowledge, wisdom, and understanding because knowledge is key. Is king, excuse me, and queen as well. It's not necessarily just a person. It's the deeds. It's not one's years that are counted. It's one's deeds that are counted. get what I'm saying? So I bring all that up to edify myself, to show you that I'm human. You know what I'm saying? I'm capable of, you know what I'm saying that I left some things out of something. You get what I'm saying? I always can do that. You know, I'm a man of integrity, accountability, honor, ethics, and in and responsibility. Excuse me. Yeah. So those are the 5 pillars of life: accountability, responsibility, honor, ethics, and integrity. All right. So I will say all that to say, go back to go beyond politics before we carry on to the next half of this. Is you know, you have to do what is necessary. So that goes back to number 4, where we was talking about say what is necessary. So you can say what is necessary, but you also have to do what is necessary, like the Migos and Drake song, walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it, man. Walk it like I talk it. So yeah, so you gotta walk it like you talk it. You get what I'm saying? So that's what you have to do in order to defeat your enemy. You get what I'm saying? So don't just be going around foolishly looking for fights and you ain't got the artillery stuff, you know what I'm saying, to do it. We know that we got brave people out here in souls, but it's a time and a place when even the gangsters of all gangsters have to retreat because he's outnumbered. You know what I'm saying? Even Rambo had to. You know what I'm saying? You can see Rambo in movies. He had to retreat when it's time to, and he's the toughest of them all. You know what I'm saying? So it's a time when your monkey ass, when you got to sit down and you may have to retreat and think of a blueprint before you actually go out and do shit. You get what I'm saying? So let's just keep that in mind. All right. So having said that, let me see. Was there something else that I wanted to say uh, regarding that? Okay, I think that was all. Okay, so having said that, let's go back into the 48 laws of power reversal. Okay, and really, I come to think of. Hold on, one more time. Okay, so and to come to think about it, I wanted to say something. Oh yeah, I gave y'all an extra one because I really was supposed to give y'all 1 through 24, which was technically, you know, half of the 48 laws, but I gave y'all 1 through 25. So today we're going through 26 through 48. Okay. And again, I'm going to give my commentary or not give my commentary because sometimes these laws are self-explanatory. And if I disagree with these laws, I'll be more than happy to tell you why I disagree with these laws. And if I agree with it, I'll give you more. I'll tell you why I agree with it. Okay, because here on this channel, we don't teach you why to think or what to think. We teach you how to think. You get what I'm saying? So you just think on your own. You know what I'm saying? And I encourage people to not to follow me or what I say. I encourage people to follow things that make sense to their own common sense and their own reasoning, because I don't have all the answers and we're still growing. Okay, and with that being said, I do want to read an African proverb that I said I was going to read before I actually get into it. Okay, and that ties into what I was just talking about. At no point is the spiritual journey finished. At no point does anyone know all there is to know. Knowledge is infinite, okay? So we have to understand that as long as you're breathing, you're always, you know, you can keep going with your mental capacity. Your mental capacity should be unlimited. You get what I'm saying? It shouldn't be like a container where this is enough. You know what I'm saying? Your mind works better open like a parachute. You know what I'm saying? It works best when it's open. All right. So having said that, let's get back into it. Let me open this up for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Let me open this up for y'all. We gonna get straight into it, y'all. We gonna get straight into it. So we are on Law 26, okay? It says get your hands dirty, okay? Law 26 says get your hands dirty. It says stay close to the soil, all right? Stay near the bottom. Stay grounded in what common people understand and love. Dig a well, okay? plant a seed, chop lumber, cook a meal, fix an engine, play a song. I would rather visit a cabin in the wilderness than to stay in a luxury hotel. I would rather walk in the woods and mountains, dreaming up a character like Zoroaster. Zoroaster. I can't even pronounce the name correctly. Is Zoroaster. I think that's how you say it. But it's the person that started Zoroasterism religion, which is based off of spiritually. Hold on, somebody calling me. Let me answer this real quick. Hold on, let me take this call. I'll be right back. Yeah, what's up? Excuse me, guys. Excuse me on that. All right. I appreciate y'all patience. Excuse me for that. I have to take that call. Okay, let's get back to it. So I would rather walk in the woods and mountains, dreaming up a character like Zarathustra. I think that's how you pronounce it. Forgive me for the butcher of that name, but you know what I'm saying. This person was an Iranian prophet and pretty much was inspired by the divine will of God to create a spiritual value system for people to follow. Now, granted, now during the time of its early, parts of that being developed, it was more on a spiritual based side, but now as time went on, as a ism, it became more perverted and corrupt. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of elitists, excuse me, use this, and it's not really the same, but it's people that use it still that actually practice the spiritual value system correctly. You get what I'm saying? And they're being righteous in their intent. So I'm not saying all of everybody is unrighteous, but it is some people that is polluting that the religion of this philosopher. Okay, but that's what he's talking about. He's talking about that philosopher though. He's dreaming up a character like, I'm gonna say it, Zarathustra. That's how you say it, Zarathustra. Okay, okay. Then to teach in a stuffy classroom. I would rather paint peasant shoes than to paint another society lady. Okay, get your hands dirty. Even blood teaches you the reversals of life. So the point that he's trying to make overall is trying to say, acknowledge nature. Just go out, be able to go out in nature and appreciate nature. You know what I'm saying? Plant something, write a song. Write poetry in the park underneath a tree. Read a book. Things of that sort. Do things that have that human affinity that he's been taught, he or she has been saying in this throughout this whole text, having human affinity. You get what I'm saying? Confucius taught it. Jesus taught it. Moses and all these great men that we revere, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Tupac, in some way, more shape or form. Different people preach the same gospel throughout history. You'll find that throughout history. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's new under the sun. All right. So having said that, just make sure that you're grounded. You know what I'm saying? Go outside, sometimes without no shoes on. You know what I'm saying? Just to connect with the earth. I know I do. Feed the pigeons. They say don't feed the pigeons out here. It's technically illegal. You know what I'm saying? But that's according to law, right? You know what I'm saying? So being righteous is sharing your food with animals and with people. You get what I'm saying? So that's nice. You know what I'm saying? Do that. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. So get your hands dirty. You know, it makes you more appreciative of life itself. You know. So let's move on to law number 27. It says, kill the sage, hang the charlatan. If I see a coat, I disperse it. If I see a charlatan, I mock the fraud spectacle. If I see a holy person, I return him to instinct and necessity. If I see a pantheon of gods being painted, I spit. So when he says kill the sage and hang the charlatan, like yeah, we want to kill the sages that are doing things that are doing it for their own self-interest and benefit. Like there's some people that pretend to be these prophets or sages or magnificent thinkers, and they say these sensational sayings that'll win you over to create this cult life. Now, granted, those people should be shunned out of the community. They should be vetted, and they shouldn't be taken. They shouldn't be accepted amongst us. Okay, it shouldn't be. Okay, and then most certainly when we talk about charlatan, we talk about the fraud. They definitely shouldn't be accepted if they're taking from us and then they're lying to us and they're manipulating us, like the people I talked about, Stacey Abrams and Al Sharpton, and these people that have lied to the community for years and years on end. And they received all the benefits for them, but they never helped the people really when it was all said and done. So we must understand that we must take necessary action, do what is necessary, okay, and then display clear intentions. All right. So not all cults are bad. You get what I'm saying? But we must understand which cult. We must see which cults are righteous and which ones are unrighteous. We see what's righteous and which ones are not. Usually, when people take up sadistic type of cultures and acts and stuff like that, we have to be mindful of that. We have to disperse those because they're spreading out this way of life that they feel is okay, like, and we supposed to live by it, but really it's not. You like hedonism, okay, like Satanism, you know what I'm saying? All these different things, Satanism, those are on the spectrum of extremity or extremism, another ism. They're on the far right because they doing a lot of stuff overtly. They don't hide their hand. You know what I'm saying? But on the other hand, you get people on the far left. As far left, there may be liberal or democratic or republicanism. They do a lot of stuff that's overt with their actions. You know what I'm saying? So regardless, it's still an extreme measure that you're taking, on the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? So these sages out here or false prophets, and then these are the jesters and the frauds out here, okay? So, if you're a holy person, you don't need to show people that you're holy. You just you show it with your actions. You don't have to like be doing it with a selfie. A lot of people do that. They show the kind gestures that they commit with the people on the everyday people that they see that are homeless, and they give them money and stuff. I look at people, I raise my eyebrow to that because I see people do that, and I'm like, nah, you shouldn't be doing that. You know what I'm saying? Just give out of the kindness of your heart. You don't have to show the world that you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? So, and then he talked about the pantheon of gods being painted. He spits. Yeah, because a lot of people, they claim to be gods and goddesses and stuff. I know a lot of people use those terms in our community, but we use those terms too loosely. Everybody's not a god or a goddess. And when you tap into yourself, you don't even have to acknowledge that you are a walking beam of light. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty self-explanatory. You don't have to put yourself on that pedestal. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we give out these undeserving titles, but on the other hand, it's not a it shouldn't be a problem to honor people, you know what I'm saying, that have done profound things in the community. You know what I'm saying? If we want to create a statue or if we want to create these things to honor people, we can, but we got to make sure that we don't mystify our heroes. We don't want to mystify our heroes, but at the same time, we want to acknowledge them. And then when I talked about, there was another thing when I was talking about time. I talked about we can't judge it on a linear scale. You must look at time like as it being of an illusion, but it's just all, like I said, simultaneous. But it was something else I wanted to say about time. Time, oh yes, time. When you think about the African Sankofa bird, when the egg is on the African Sankofa's back, and the Sankofa bird is arching his neck back to educate the egg to prepare it for not only the present but also for the future, because that's what it is. You get what I'm saying? That's a representation of time. So it's the past, present, and the future. So yes, it's here now, presently. The mom, but the parent is there to educate it for of the past, so it'll be prepared for the present and tomorrow. So that is a representation of time, Sankofa. All right. So understand that too. And then also I brought up Hydra, the mythological creature, when I was talking about Hydra is a is attachment is Hydra, a dragon. When I was talking about Hydra on a biological level, though, I meant to put this in there too. When you think about Hydra from looking at it under the microscopic device, the microscope, Hydra can be an asexual creature as far as that it can branch off, like you know how Hercules was able to cut off the head of the snake like dragon, and then it was able to develop again like more heads and stuff. It can do that from a biological standpoint from its own self. It's so it's asexual. It can create another hydra, and it can create another one, so on and so forth. So it's important to check your attitude, and that's a representation of you. You can be cancerous, or you can be or you can spread joy, and that depends on you. You know what I'm saying? So yes, it boils down to science as well as mythology as well as reality. You can learn from all of this, man, and apply it to life. All right. So I say that to say, was there something else I wanted to say regarding anything from the first half? I think that was it. Okay. So having said that, let's move on to number 28. So law 28, okay? It says value meekness. All right. The bold are stupid, the prideful talk loudly, the hesitant are emotionally discerning, the ancient the anxious, are socially aware. The discontent excel at thinking. The stupid are charming. The meek possess kindness. Look for value in the strange tendencies of others. What you take for weakness may really be a gift. What you take for silence may really be compassion. Okay, so yeah, just yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. You know, I don't want to go beyond that, put too much mustard on a hot dog or whatever, but I believe all of that is true ultimately. You know what I'm saying? You know, you just gotta feel the energy out. You know what I'm saying? You have to feel out the energy too. So that I'm big on energy. So and you can feel things before you do things. You know what I'm saying? You can feel if something is righteous. You can feel if something's wrong. You know, these things happen before words are uttered and before actions are taking place. All right. So when you I mean, you can value meekness if it's not cunning. You know what I'm saying? If it's not Machiavellian politics. So when you value meekness, to me, I think about femininity. You have to protect, provide, and you have to be a provisionist, and you have to be a procreator when it comes to you valuing meekness. You know what I'm saying? To me, that shows that you do value meekness when you provide these different attributes for it. All right. So yes, only when you value sincere meekness, okay, you value sincere meekness, not meekness that's there to get you, because some people do that. They can be kind, and then they just try to use that to win you over to get something out of you. So you got to know the difference. All right. So having said that, let's go to law 28. So law 29 rather, excuse me. Nothing begins, nothing ends. Okay. What does the project where, excuse me, does the project begin? It began at your birth. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to say on that. Because I had talked about how the parents opened up the door for you, and you just sprint out. So what I wanted to add to that, of course, is the man, of course, is the masculine energy, which is the life force, and the woman is the life giver, is the feminine aspect. So when the sperm hits the egg, and when it shoots out and it hits the egg, you are the representation of the winner. Okay, so you chose to be here, believe it or not. Your parents just paved the way for you. Okay, so just know that. All right. So it began at your birth. All right. Every moment has contributed to what came after. So also with centuries, so also with lifetimes. How can you plan to the end? Nothing begins, or nothing ends, nothing begins. Don't be foolish and too much planning. Just pass the torch when you are ready. When ending come, when endings come, act as if the task remains incomplete. When victory comes, mourn as if it were a loss instead. A responsive heart is continually reminded of life's frailty, life's uncertainty, life's unending sadness. When endings come, act as if the task remains incomplete. Show me a champion who weeps. Okay. Now I won't say nothing ends and nothing begins. I'm not gonna say that. I don't know about that. Because I feel like according to some secular teachings by our great leaders of our community. One of them say that out of negation becomes creation. Out of nothing comes something. You know what I'm saying? Now, ultimately, we know this physical vessel has a beginning and an end to it, but the soul really can be destroyed or created, it cannot be destroyed or created. It can only be transformed or transferred over. So having said that, we know that much. So that if you want to say nothing begins, nothing ends, that is always gonna always. If you want to say that for a soul, you can say that, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But the physicality of things, the material things, yes, that stuff deteriorates to the ground. But even though, like, say if my body was to rot in the grass after after decomposition, that's still feeding my body. Even though it's rotting into the grass, it's feeding the grass. You get what I'm saying? It's feeding the nutrients of the grass. So yes, my body becomes a feast for the grass now to help it grow. You know what I'm saying? So that is a part of the circle of life. You know what I'm saying? That's the rebirth. That's the constant rebirth and living, constant rebirth. Life and death. It's a constant rebirth. You know what I'm saying? The lion eats the gazelle eats the grass. The lion perishes in the grass, and the gazelle is eating the grass. So yes, it's a circle of life. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I said time is not judged on a linear scale. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why. All right. So he says, don't be foolish and too much planning. You do have to make plans, man. Like, yes, some things come out of spontaneity because we want to make our lives interesting and extravagant at times, but we definitely have to plan ahead. We don't want to just go through life not having plans and stuff like that. So, because a man that plans to fail, I mean, plans fails to plan, excuse me, plans to fail. All right. So if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. All right. So that's what I'm saying. Hold on again. Let me take this call. Be patient with me. I'll be right back. We're gonna continue it back on regularly scheduled programming. One moment. Hello. 28 or 27 rather. I think. Hold on. Let me see. Damn. So. Oh man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all was more than patient. I appreciate that. I may have to edit that part out, but I appreciate it. Having said that, we were on number. Let's go back to where we was. All right, let's go back to where we was. All right. So we were talking about nothing begins, nothing ends. All right. So he talked about not planning, and I say you should always have a plan. You know what I'm saying? We already talked about that part. He says when endings come, act as if the task remains incomplete. Cause it's always work to be done. You know what I'm saying? The job is not really done when, like, we say the job is done. That objective is done, but there's still a gang load of work that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? So we must acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? Um, when victory comes, mourn as if it were a loss. I don't know about that, but we can reflect on our victory. We can say what we could have done better, even though we won. We ain't got to cry though as if we lost. That's, creating unnecessary emotional havoc towards yourself. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we should be looking at life as uncertain and a frailty and unending sadness. Now, yes, life has its struggles and stuff like that. It has its fulls, its ups and downs, but we don't necessarily have to look at it as something that we have to mope around and weep about, because we can be appreciative of the little things like the beautiful flowers, the birds, the water, the sun, trees. And then he says, show me a champion who weeps. There are champions who weep. They weep after they win. You know what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Sugar Ray Leonard, all these different champions that weep, and if people have acted kind to them, they've had tears of joy because they've been through so much adversity that seeing kindness and seeing, or if they won their championship or won a belt, they weep. You get what I'm saying? Because they went through, they got their hands dirty. Like one of the laws was stating, getting your hands dirty. It's important to get your hands dirty. They know the importance of hard work, persistence, dedication, sacrifice, and all that. So yeah, champions weep sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And it's no problem with that. It's just you showing your emotions at that time. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. And what I was trying to say too on that emotion and logic tip, all I was saying is I'm not trying to say emotions is more greater than logic or logic is more greater than emotions. I'm saying that they're both equal. It's a time for you to use your you have to use logical assertions, and you have to use discernment and common sense. And then it's a time where you have to feel things. You get what I'm saying? So as a poet or as a musician, they're not always thinking. They're just, it's sometimes the music and the rhythm requires them to, just, it's just a feeling, that they have. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson and Beyonce and people, all the people that knew how to really dance and stuff like that, they talked about how, like, it was something in their spirit and soul that just took over them, that made them just do the moves. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't thinking logically about the moves. It was something inside them that made them feel that way. You know what I'm saying? That ignited their passion for living, to do the dance move, for Michael Jackson to do the moonwalk. You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that's what he was. He was listening to the rhythm of his heart and of his soul. You get what I'm saying? So that is something to think about. You know what I'm saying? To think about. All right. So let me go to um let's go to the next one. Let's go to law 30. Okay, law 30 says be truly effortless. Do not simulate. A hack will try to hide the seams, okay? A hack will try to sweep away the debris. A hack would conceal the missteps in the trash. Not so with genius. For the genius, each mistake is part of the masterpiece. Each masterpiece, excuse me. Let me say that again, guys. I got tongue tied. All right. Each mistake is a part of the masterpiece. Each mistake speaks your true nature. Okay. And you know how I'm gonna give y'all an example of this, or what he's talking about, he or she's talking about. Just like with this video, I was gonna edit out the part where I kind of took a long break, but that's a part of, you have to appreciate the silence. Okay. You know, the greatest part in music, you know what I'm saying? I want to ask y'all this. You know what the greatest part in any type of music or musical sound or instrument, you know, the greatest part of a song, the greatest part of a song or anything, when you listen to a song, the greatest part of a song or music playing or things of that sort is the silence. Okay, there must be a resting point in between that in order for you to appreciate it. The music ain't just playing, even though it sounds like it, but there's resting points in between there, like the chorus or the verse or whatever, you're depending on what you're listening to, you know what I'm saying? Because if it's classical, it's different, you know what I'm saying? Or jazz is different. But you know what I'm saying? There's the silence in between that, and that silence makes the music more appreciative. You know what I'm saying? So the mistake is the masterpiece. You get what I'm saying? Like what he said, each mistake speaks to your true nature. It humanizes you. You know what I'm saying? It shows people that, yeah, you're capable of making mistakes, but you're able to bounce back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's no tomorrow. You come back like you Jordan, when he was long retired. You know what I'm saying? When he was 45 and he went to go play for the Wizards. You know what I'm saying? That he still could play. You know what I'm saying? Or George Foreman coming back. You know what I'm saying? So let's you know what I'm saying? Let's be appreciative of your mistakes. And I want to read something regarding that too. Hold on real quick. Let me read something regarding that. All right. We're going to read something regarding that. It's about confidence. All right. It's about confidence. It's about confidence. Hold on real quick. Because I want to read something about that. If I can find it. I can't. I don't know if I can find it, y'all. We may have to just forget about it. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. It's about confidence. Where is it at? Hold on. Let me type it in, y'all. Let me type it in real quick. I probably could find it if I type it in. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, it says confidence isn't thinking you're perfect. It's being comfortable with the ways you are imperfect. Okay, so just walking it like you talking it, just having being a man or a woman of integrity, like just acknowledging that, yeah, you may not be perfect and you're not, you know, here to be perfect and satisfy everybody and be a people pleaser, but you here to still shed love and light on to everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to load this finger up like Frieza does and blast you. You know what I'm saying? But in a way that he blasts you is to destroy you. What I'm here to do is to load it up with love and truth, justice, reciprocity, harmony. I'm here to load this bomb up with one finger and blast you like that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm trying to bring forth this knowledge to you. You know what I'm saying? So let's do that. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it going. Let's go back to where we were. All right. So yeah, so just be yourself. You know, if you want to be a hack or a theft or a thief, excuse me, or stuff like that, you have to hide. You have to do a lot of things to hide your tracks. You know what I'm saying? You have to create all these lies. You know what I'm saying? You have to create all these lies to make it seem like you're this way and you're really another way. You know what I'm saying? So we don't need to be doing that. All right. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to Law 31. Whatever happens, this is the lesson. Okay. So don't think of it all the time as you failing at something. Just learn from it and not commit the same mistake in order for you to fail again. You get what I'm saying? So don't do that. All right. If your opponent controls the options, the weakness is revealed. Okay. If your opponent constrains your freedom, the weakness is revealed. If your opponent becomes angry, the weakness is revealed. If your opponent relies on an arbitrary faith, the weakness is revealed. If your opponent relies on ordered law, the weakness is revealed. Whatever your opponent does, that is your opportunity for reversal. Okay? Ski in the wake of power, ride the missteps of others to victory. Go directly to power and overturn it. Be a laughing jester, be a satirical rogue, be a musician, be a poet, uh, and be the last one anyone expects to take the throne. Then take it. Okay. So yeah, like a lot of what he's saying is true. He or she's saying is true there because sometimes when an enemy try so hard to do something, they're really revealing their hand. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of what he was saying there, he was just kind of going back into the art of war. You know what I'm saying? If a person wants to always be in control of something, that shows that they have a possessive attitude and you can take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? And then he says a person controls your freedom. Uh, if a person there's a saying that goes something to the nature of if a man's tongue is cut out, it's because the world fears. It's not because of people are scared of you. It's because what they fear, what you might say. You know what I'm saying? So you may say something that could rattle the cage. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that's why they're trying to control your freedom or try to give you these illusionary options or in choices, and they're really not choices. Okay, so that says a lot about them. You know what I'm saying? They want to they're vampires and parasites. You know what I'm saying? And then if a person is easily becomes angry, you know how to you can become a puppet master to the emotions. You know how to pull their strings. You know what I'm saying? So if you're easily angry, you're not able to think well. You can't think like that. You know what I'm saying? A peaceful mind, a mind that's at ease, they're able to think more clearly. You get what I'm saying? If you can't think clearly, then if you're angry, you can't think clearly. Okay, so you have to go with a peaceful mind and a peaceful heart. All right. And if a person is about always law and order, this person, if they just buy the books, that's dangerous too, because a lot of the stuff that can be by the books ain't necessarily righteous. Okay, and we see that all the time when cops are killing black or original men and women and children, and they get off with immunity or whatever. So and it's supposed to be law and order. That's not law and order. Okay, that's chaos, and you're showing your weakness because you're not accountable for your actions. So we have to create something that'll make you be accountable for your actions, since you don't know how to do it. We gotta hold your hand now. All right, so we gotta uh do that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Then he says, be a laughing jester. To me, that kind of reminded me of the Joker, like when he goes against the status quo. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, he's a villain and he goes to the extremities to get his point across. But that's what I think of when he says go directly to power and turn it and be a laughing jester. So that's what the Joker does. He tries to antagonize Batman, right? Because if you think about it, the Joker would be Batman, and Batman would be the Joker if they both had did something different in their life. Bruce Wayne would have became the Joker, and then the Joker he goes by many different names. So if I give you a name, that's one of many names. So I'm not even gonna say one. But he could have been the Batman. And at one point in time, they made, I believe, there's a comic book series where Joker became actually became Batman. You know what I'm saying? So at times, you know what I'm saying, you can become your own greatest protagonist or antagonist. You know what I'm saying? So that depends on you. You know, and that depend. And then when you're talking about your enemy, that could be that way towards your enemy too. You know what I'm saying? So whatever your opponent does, that is an opportunity for reversal. You get what I'm saying? So there's the polar opposite, Batman and Joker. You know what I'm saying? So they go against each other. Joker's trying to prove to Batman that people ain't all that good like they say they are, and Batman's trying to prove to the Joker that people are good if you give them a chance. You know what I'm saying? People, you know, that's why he don't kill people and stuff. Batman makes it a point he doesn't kill people. He just beat them up real bad, and he scare them and shit like that to prove a point. But he doesn't kill them. But Joker tries to do a lot of different stuff to offset Batman and the establishment because he's trying to say y'all don't really care. Y'all morally bankrupt. Y'all claim y'all got morals. Y'all wearing these suits and ties and stuff. And I'm here being a jester to mock y'all because y'all out here having a facade. So he has this antagonist, a great antagonist approach. So you got that it makes it good for a comic book, Batman and versus the Joker, the greatest one of the greatest rivals. You know what I'm saying? The hero versus the villain. So that's the best analogy that I can use when it comes to that type of stuff. Okay, so so it says be a laughing gesture, okay, and then be a satirical role. Being a satirical role, I think of y'all probably gonna laugh at this, but I think about the Boondocks, Huey Freeman, where one of the dudes he actually interviews people. I can't think of his name, but he was like on NB. He's like a famous NBC or CBS reporter, but they was interviewing Huey Freeman, the 8 to 10 year old who plays the voiceover of Regina plays the voiceover of that 10 year old. But on the bottom, you know how like when you're in an interview and somebody's interviewing you, and then your name is at the top, and then at the bottom it shows like what you do. Like my name is Adrian Dorson, or my name is this, or my name is Bobby Brown, and then it says underneath my occupation is musician and this and that and the third. Well, under Huey Freeman's name, it says retired domestic terrorist. So it shows that 8 year old, 10 year old is a satirical role against the establishment. So I think that's funny because he thinks Huey Freeman is constantly, you know, going against the law and order and trying to ruffle the feathers and things of that sort to make a point that everything that the establishment does is not necessarily righteous. You get what I'm saying? So it's funny that that he says be a satirical rogue, okay? And then you have and then he says be a musician. And I thought about Michael Jackson and how his music had a profound impact on the world. You know what I'm saying? You can listen to a lot of his songs and get something profound out of it, man. And in the Mirror, Earth song, and stuff like that, you can get a lot out of that. And then be a poet. I thought about Tupac when he wrote his poems before he really got like famous like that. Like he had a notebook full of poetry, which his mom later released after his passing and stuff. of a book, and it's called The Rose That Grew from Concrete. And he has profound poems in there that talks about freedom and justice and things like that. And he goes against the establishment too. And that's one of my favorite books, by the way. So yeah, so that's something to be mindful of. Okay, speak to people's true necessities. Okay, power and wealth are a fantasy, a far off illusion. Return to their inner necessities. Return to people. Return people to their filial loyalty. Return people to their own flaws. Return people to their own uncertain natures. Return people to their sense of human affinity. Your life today. Let me remind you of that. Okay. So again, just be yourself, and then try to teach others, and be relatable. You get what I'm saying? That's what I got out of that. I'm not gonna too much dwell on that. And he said, power and wealth are a fantasy and a far off illusion. It can be attainable, but you don't want to try to attain it so much that you lose your soul, you know what I'm saying, while trying to do it. Okay. So that's the point that I would say on top of that. But other than that, that's pretty self explanatory. All right. So let's go to number 33. That one says, the way. Okay, to discover the true path, you must abandon the mentor. You must go your own way, finding your own zen. Who can take this from you or challenge it? Kill the Buddha, follow the way of your heart. From the chaos of your own unpredictable nature, who can learn your hidden depths? You are continuously changing and growing. Okay, that's self explanatory. Like, and when he says kill the Buddha, he doesn't mean like literally kill him. He means just like figuratively speaking, like, you don't have to just do everything that your mentor tells you. You can have a mentor, you can have a coach or a life coach and learn and be coachable. But you don't want to just be like trying to just live out their everyday way of thinking and doing and stuff. Because you have your own way of thinking and doing. Okay, and so I wouldn't abandon the mentor completely, because you got people, like I said, you can rub shoulders with, that are that actually are excelling at something, and you can learn from it. Like, it's two people that's notable, I want to say, that actually that looked at they looked up to their mentors, and they actually done something and applied it, and that'll be Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant took all of Michael Jordan's moves, and Michael Jordan has acknowledged that plenty of times, that he would be like his noteworthy opponent because he took a lot of his moves. So because we know, since imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Okay, and then there's a modern day uh, 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 I think he's from the Dominican Republican, but his name is Michelle Rivera. But he has the same haircut as Muhammad Ali, and he does like his mannerisms and stuff, his style of fighting. So he's emulating Muhammad Ali. He fights in a lightweight division, and he's actually like 23-0 with like 14 knockouts. So he's actually doing really good. But he wears Ali, like I said, he wears Ali's hairstyle. He has his he has his boxing trunks like Ali and stuff like that. Wears the infamous red gloves and stuff like that. So he really has the showmanship of him. Of course, he ain't him, but my point is, you can look at somebody as your mentor and still have your own swag. You know what I'm saying? You can still have your own way of doing stuff. You can still have the way. You can look at somebody's past, and they're great, and you can look at what they had and you can evolve it. You know what I'm saying? You can make it grow into something even grander. And that's the whole point of history. You're supposed to look at history and be able to say, what can I do to better what my predecessors put before me. You get what I'm saying? So that's what we're designed to do. We're supposed to be making stuff grow. You know what I'm saying? We ain't supposed to regress, and we ain't supposed to just stay stationary. You know what I'm saying? Because now at the bottom, at the end, he says you are continuously changing and growing. Okay? Because life is about adaptability. You have to be able to adapt to certain circumstances, environments, and things of that sort. Okay? All right. So I would say ultimately what I got out of this, like I said, I partially agree with it and partially I didn't agree with it, is that you are the way. All right. Once you discover you don't. There's an African proverb that states this, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Don't follow. It says something of the nature. Do not follow the trail that was set before you. Instead, create your own trail for others to follow, or create your own trail to be able to follow for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And even when you create your own path, you don't have to expect people to follow you. You know what I'm saying? You can expect other people to do their own thing too. But at the same time, y'all can still have a mutual support group and support each other on each other's journey. Okay. You know, so that's what it's about. All right. So let's move forward. Let's go to number 34. Conceal the immortal jade. The true saint hides the immortal jade in homespun garbs, unremarkable at a distance, unnoticed in crowds. The sage kisses the feet of a future Buddha. The jewel is none other than human affinity. So the true saint ends in bowing to the unlived potential in everyone else. Okay? All right. So you always give people a chance. The young generation, you see potential in them, you give them a chance. You know what I'm saying? But enlighten them of their past so they don't forget of that. You know what I'm saying? You have to be. You have to. That's like it's like having a tree and it don't have no roots underneath it. It can't be no tree if it ain't got no roots underneath it. And the same thing when it comes to knowledge and understanding and wisdom. You have to have some type of roots. Okay? Everything started from somewhere. Every stream has its source that according to an African proverb. I add to that every stream has its source, but no one idea is original. Okay? So you must understand these things. All right. We must understand that. All right. So let's go to number 35. 35 is time is an illusion. All right. Why master the art of timing? Every moment contains infinite plenitude. All right. Do not wait or delay. Open your heart in this moment. What else, is there to become when you have found your inner most care. Do not wait for strategy. Engage fully here and now. Play the notes, play the silence between the notes. Remember, we talked about the greatest moment in music is the silence, okay? Hear the musicality of each tension and release. Let your responsiveness become fully musical. And now, what I think about that when he's talking about the musical stuff, I can really say the people that really embodied that was Michael Jackson and Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali really understood rhythm, and he really was really poetic and things of that sort. And so was Michael Jackson. He really lived to the beat of his feet, his own rhythm. You know what I'm saying? There's a video of Michael Jackson. He was speaking to Oprah, and I guess she had said something that he wasn't really like too fond of, or he wasn't paying attention, and he started beatboxing and started singing, and he answered her question, but he was singing and he was beatboxing. Let me actually play that. Let me play that. I think I got that somewhere, because this is a perfect example of when obstacles and shit come your way, you ignore that shit. You don't pay it no mind. You just keep on going. Yup. Let me see if I can find that. Hold on. Let me see if I can find that. Nah, not that. That's not it. I want to show y'all that. Suicide. Not that one. Suicide. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna find that. I'm finding that, y'all. Hold on. Let me find that. Let me find that real quick for y'all because I think that's important to show that. If I can, let me see. I may not be able to find it. Let me see. Let me see. Here it go. Here it go. Here it go. Hold on, hold on. Let me see if I can just find a short. Okay, here it go. Here it go.
I was singing. Wait. Yeah. And when you are, for instance, when we were here before,
you know what? He didn't have a care in the world.
The only things that have been true when they said I could dance. It doesn't seem to matter, man. It doesn't seem. You were like being shots, running off, conceiving the dance, choreographing the dance. You were up all night dancing.
Every day, and she didn't. He didn't have a care in the world. Michael Jackson did not care what Oprah had to say. He started he started beatboxing. He started doing some hip hop shit on her ass. I know he called the king of pop, but he started doing some hip hop bebop shit on her ass, man. That shit was crazy. That's how you shut down lies. And he a Virgo just like me, baby. He a Virgo just like me. You know I'm proud of you. We miss you, brother. We miss you. Rest in peace to one of the greatest entertainers of all time, Michael Jackson. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a big fan of him. But that's the way to shut down people in a foolishness. You know what I'm saying? Kill people with kindness. He killed the establishment single-handedly with his kindness and his music to heal the world, healing music. That's how you supposed to do it, my friend. All right. So whatever talent you got, you use that to get people. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they're talking about. Let the responsiveness become fully musical. You know what I'm saying? He literally was a great exemplar of that. That example I just showed you, he embodied that. I love it, man. I love it. All right. So let's go to number 36. All right. Number 36 says, it is not enough to disdain your enemy's wealth. Still, you will pine for it. Now, he or she is using the word pine. I don't want y'all to think about a pine cone, a pine tree, a pineapple. When they talking about a pine, it's a person that suffers from physical or mental decline, especially after a heartbreak. Okay. All right. So think that's what pine means in this context, okay? Don't be thinking about no pineapple tree and no pine cones. That's not what he's talking about, okay? I don't want y'all to be confused by that, all right? So it says, instead, neutralize the desire itself by finding contentment. When the free gifts of nature look to you like an empire already, then you have found the way. You have claimed the nameless virtue. You have crossed the threshold of poet and saint. Though my teaching is utterly simple, it remains beyond the grasp of all but a few, very few in the world. This life you already possess, that is the real wealth. That is true miracle. See the meandering cloud instead of the diamond. See the dripping raindrop as it spills over the gutter. Only a tuft of grass separates you from a dead king or a prince. Walk in the sunlight and be warm. Okay, he's right because you can have a prince, villain, king, whoever. At the end of the day, they still won't. They still want to enjoy the sunlight and be warm, because you can look at a person like Thanos, a fictional character like Thanos. After all that chaos and after all that stuff, he was talking about how the world is finite and stuff like that. Really, it's not. He was wrong behind that. His theory behind that was wrong. The world is abundant, but at the end, when it was all said and done, when you saw it, the movie, he sat out and he watched the sunrise and he was smiling at the end. You know what I'm saying? Even the greatest villain wants, can appreciate the sunlight and be warmed by that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he means, that only a tough or a tuft of grass separates you from a dead king or a prince. It don't matter where you are in life. That's what separates you from anybody. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what status or what reputation you have. Okay. And again, he's preaching the gospel of appreciating nature. So once you appreciate nature, you're not worried about any of these isms. Okay. So you appreciate the cloud instead of the diamond. Okay. You appreciate the raindrop, because you know that when it comes to the earth, since it's 80%, 70% of water, you know that it has godlike properties to keep you alive. It makes up a lot of us in our body too. Like 70%, 60% of our body of our makeup is a makeup of water. Excuse me, and everything that is around us is made up of water too, of hydrogen. Okay, what I would like to say a little bit is kind of drifting off a little bit of the topic, but when we talk about water, I think that we're ever expanding on hydrogen, on water. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be liquid, solidified water, or steam, like we're riding the wave of the earth. I don't believe it's flat. I don't necessarily believe it's flat, but I don't necessarily believe that it can be spherical. It does have a core, and it's ever expanding and it's everlasting because of the water, the wave that we're on. You know what I'm saying? When we walk on concrete, that is literally walking on water. We are walking on water. You know what I'm saying? Because all of that stuff is made up of water. You know what I'm saying? Everything around you is made up of water. All right. So it's important to be water. All right. Be formless. Be that nameless virtue. That's the point that he's making in these assertions, in these laws. Okay. And some of them, I mean. Okay. All right. So let's go on to the next one, 37. It says 30 law 37 says spectacle makes us weary also. Spectacle only dulls us to more spectacle. The circus makes us drowsy after a quarter hour. Our true feelings are elsewhere. Okay? I mean, yeah, granted, some things are boring. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so you like, especially during this time, like our attention span is that of a toddler. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't get you within 10 seconds, a grown adult human being will go somewhere else. Hell, y'all probably paused this motherfucker and went somewhere and did something and start eating your hamburgers and fries or whatever you doing on the side, eating your pork or whatever. But you make sure you get back on this mug, and you make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe, okay? And make sure you comment positive affirmations too, because I worked hard with getting this information out to y'all, okay? I want y'all to, make something out of y'allself. And I don't want you to, like I said, I don't want you to necessarily follow me. I ain't nobody's leader. I'm leading myself, and I want to lead by example. So if I am leading by example, or when I am leading by example, if something happens to rub off on you, then so be it. But let that be organically, not because I'm imposing my will on you, okay? All right, so that's the thing. All right, that's what we gotta learn to do as human beings. Stop imposing ourselves on other people. Stop trying to conquer people. The only thing that you need to be trying to conquer is your goddamn imagination, because that's a gift. Once you conquer that, then we can go from there. You know what I'm saying? That's how we're able to get the Michael Jacksons and the Tupacs and the Michael Jordans, because they was able to conquer their imagination to do what they was able to do on the court, in the boxing ring, on the paper, when it comes to writing music or producing. Kanye West producing these great songs because they conquered their imagination or their imagination. Okay, all right, and that's what we have to do. All right, to tap into our childlike abilities. All right. And let me say something. Words can be very powerful, because you know what I'm saying. I want to just add on to that. Like, there was, to me, there was something that was very powerful that a parent did that I heard. Like, a child came up to a parent saying that somebody was bullying them, right? And the child, or the parent rather, told the child, always remember in your mind that you are Superman. And you know how powerful that was to a child, because the child now then is able to either at the very least stand up to that bully, or knock the hell out of them, like Charles Barkley would say. He knocked the hell out of somebody, knocked the hell out of them, uh, on top of their head or whatever. Like, so when you tell a child that they're Superman and they go back to face that bully, man, that child gonna try to put a hurting on that mug, on that mother sucker. You know what I'm saying? So that's important. You know what I'm saying? It's important to cast spells like that if you want somebody to move somebody in that way. You know what I'm saying? To have them stand on their own 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. All right. Okay. So 38. This leads into what I'm saying. Set an example. All right. Set an example. There's no need to preach what you are. Be and embody the goodness you wish in the world. Okay. Give others the courage by your example. That analogy I told you with the child and the parent. Okay. Leading by being and doing, excuse me. Words and thoughts alone do not suffice. Your creations must come from the origin. They must arise in harmony with your journey. They must balance what is unbalanced in you. Your art is also your life. Your art is also your struggle and your victory over your struggle. Let others say what they like, but your demons are also your angels. Their role Their reversal is growth. Okay. All right. So we're here to serve the higher planes of existence, not the lower planes. Okay. So we got to understand that we have the yin and the yang. Okay. The demons and the angels that we wrestle against, our eternal battles that we have within ourselves. Tupac said, sometimes I'm at war with my own heart. Okay. So Haru versus Set. That's the symbology of man or woman going against themselves. Okay, going to Set being the ego, Haru being the conqueror of humanity, being the earthly master. Okay, he's going against himself sometime, his alter ego, which is his ego. If he starts the ego trip, he becomes Set. You know what I'm saying? He goes against his nature. So you don't want to have too much Set. You don't want to have too much ego. Okay. People lie. I know I done heard people on YouTube say that the god Set or Seth is the devil, but it's not true. It's just the polar opposite of somebody. Like, if you're here being righteous, you get caught up in your own ego and you start doing like reckless stuff. You know what I'm saying? You slip off the ropes a little bit. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're evil. It just means that you're making mistakes and you're getting so caught up in your ego. Now, people that go beyond their ego, they on some evil shit, you know what I'm saying? That go supersede the evil, the ego level. They're super ego. Okay, that's how you get villains and shit. When we just talking about regular ego, that's just you falling victim to small shit. You know what I'm saying? Not the granddaddy shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't becoming no Dr. Evil or Thanos or none of these type of people, whether they're fictional or non-fictional. Hitler, you're not becoming that. You didn't tap into super ego mode. Okay, all right. That's when folks that got out of control, out of this world type of ego, and they want to take over the world. You know what I'm saying? In such a way that's going to cause havoc and misery towards other people. All right. So we're not here to do that. All right. We're here to have self development and human reciprocity and affinity. Okay. So number 39, it says, calm the disconsolate. Okay. To make hysterical misery into everyday life, or everyday, common unhappiness. Let's read that again. To make hysterical misery into everyday life, common unhappiness. That was Freud's best hope for humanity. Freud was an American psychologist that came up with different sorts of theories about children and adults and how they think. And some people to this day consider him one of the greatest psychologists on the planet. Okay, because of his well-known theories and stuff. Okay, in the marketplace, there is enough luxury and noise to make or to send anyone into the madhouse to become a beacon of serenity. Okay, this goal serves two purposes: yourself and the community. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, and you can you can look around you and see who in your community is doing that. All right. Okay, so let's go to number 40. All right. Oh, so let me say this on number 36, okay? Because this is the part that I wanted to say on neutralize desire for number law 36. I forgot to talk about hedonism, okay? Hedonism or hedonist is a person that loves to indulge excessively, okay? We live in that type of culture now. That's why it's so important to neutralize desire. Yes, you're going to have desires and stuff like that, okay? But it doesn't mean that you overindulge on it. You know what I'm saying? If you eat too much cake, you're going to have diabetes. You get what I'm saying? Even too much love, you can shower somebody with too much love, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? You give people a love, and then you lead, like he said in one of these laws. I think it was one in the first half. Then you leave people so they can appreciate your absence while you're gone, because the absence makes the heart grow fonder. You get what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that you give people love, but you don't want to put too much mustard on anything. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want to be overindulgent. Okay, when it comes to these desires, so it's best to neutralize those. I did not say that, so I wanted to make sure that I said that. So before we go to number 40, so this is going to be law number 40, which says pay no price. Okay, it says, what is your dignity worth? What is your humanity worth? What is your soul worth? Again and again you will seek to sell it away. That is common. I want to say this before I finish it. Yeah, every day the average person sells out. Okay, if you bought Nike, if you went to Walmart to shop, if you got all these different designers and stuff, if you go clock in the 9 to 5, you're on a corporate plantation. So everybody sells out. You know what I'm saying? From the 9 to 5 person all the way up to your to your favorite celebrity. Okay, so the whole point of humanity is to try not to sell out as much as possible. Okay, like, yeah, we give up one thing to give something else, but we still have to be human at the end of the day, and we still have to have that human affinity. Okay, so yes, we can sell out, but we don't want to sell out to the point where we lose ourselves. That's why he's asking, what is your dignity worth? What is your humanity worth? What is your soul worth? Okay, it's okay to do these things, but at the same time, you better not sell out to the point where you lose yourself. You lose out on yourself, okay? Because there's a saying that goes, uh, what it's something to the nature of like, what has a man gained in this world if he lost his soul or something like that. I think it's like a biblical saying, something to that nature. Okay, so that's sort of what he's getting at. Okay, with those inquiries. Okay, so let's continue. In the end, though, you will return to your own conscience. Even the most colossal heist or deception returns to the origin of desire and pines once more. Again, think of pines as being a mental or physical decline because after a broken heart, okay, or after a dilemma or something that happened in your life that was tragic, okay, for completion and contentment, are you content? Okay, like there was something to the nature of what Chappelle was saying on Oprah again. We're going back to Oprah again. Chappelle told Oprah that his dad told him to pick his price. I know here he's saying pay no price, but his dad told him to pick his price and don't change it. Just keep it like that, because once you try to bargain and go up and down and all this type of stuff, especially if you try to go up, nothing that you ever get is going to satisfy you. So he carried that philosophy throughout his whole life, and that's why he took his 50 mil and left, and people thought he was crazy and such and such and such, but he really wasn't. He just remembered what his daddy taught him, you know what I'm saying? And that never left from his heart and his mind, and he carried that with him. That's why they was never able to put no dress or effeminize that man, because he was able to think for himself, okay? So that's what he's talking about too. Are you content? You know what I'm saying? Chappelle can say that he was content. He can live with himself because he didn't sell out. You know what I'm saying? And the same in his stand-up comedy. If he's talking, anybody can get it. He tells the truth. You know what I'm saying? And people had tried to cancel him before, but when he was talking about trans, he was making jokes about gay people and stuff like that, and people try to cancel him. But like, Chappelle has always been a controversial comedian. So if y'all can't accept that, y'all can kick rocks. You know what I'm saying? All these white comedians that have said all these racist jokes and shit, y'all let that shit slide. But anytime a black man says something profound, especially if he's heterosexual and he's strong and he's masculine, there's a problem with that. I can't stand y'all motherfuckers sometimes. But it's all right, though. We're going to keep it going. All right? So having said that, we're going to go to Law 41. Rise to the challenge. Okay? So it says, rise to the challenge. Others have come before you, but the crowd is more concerned with what happens now. Okay? Others have come before you. Confront them in their gifts. Find a worthy mentor among them. Rise to the challenge. Satisfy the present demand. Fill the vacant place as if it were your own, okay? And a lot of people are doing that with these reparation movements that's happened not only domestically but internationally. People are waking up and saying, yeah, you owe melanated men and women and children money for all the heinous crimes you have caused us, Great Britain and Portuguese and all these other ones. So yes, y'all need to pay us for all the hurt, harm, and danger that you put on our people, and all the benefits that your generations have done. Generation after generation, y'all have reaped these benefits, and then y'all want to claim y'all did it through hard work and perseverance and all this. No, the hell y'all didn't. Y'all stole this shit. You go to museums in Great Britain and even in America, you can see all the artifacts of African history being stolen, and some of them being iconoclastic. You know what I'm saying? Where they purposely deface or devalue or whitewash history. So we're not gonna play that. Y'all not gonna romanticize, revisualize our history, okay? So we have to understand that. So we have to rise to the challenge from the grassroots level, all right? So I need everybody to hit that like, share, and subscribe. button, comment positive affirmations. And if you hating on this video, hate on this video with your hating ass. I don't give a fuck no more, man. We gotta stand up to these charlatans, these phonies, and all these cronies and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it right. We going to 42. Be a law 42 says be a people gatherer. Okay, even the misanthropist, a person that does not like people. Like people, you can give a person like Thanos. Thanos was, even though he was an evil person, he still was able to conjure up his people to create his acts. Or if you a good person, a righteous person, you could take like the Justice League. They was able to come together, okay? Even though a lot of personalities clash and stuff, especially when it comes to Batman, he like, y'all can call me when y'all ready to really do some change. You know what I'm saying? He can be the most stubbornest one out of all of them, but he's still gonna work with them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's his mutual support group. So even the the person that doesn't like other people understands the sunny side of life. Okay, again, that goes back to Thanos looking at the sunrise as it comes up. Even after he did his villain activities and shit like that, he still was able to appreciate the sun. All right, your very attitude has the power to attract or repulse, alienate or include. Be a people gatherer, not a cynic. Okay, even the cynics will agree with me. This is why I began my invitation with them in mind. What is more beautiful than a cynic? They see honesty thwarted everywhere. Okay, all right, so yeah, Jesus was a people gatherer. Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all the greatest men that you can think of, they were people gatherers. They were mediators. They were healers. Okay, and when I say men, I don't necessarily just mean men. I also mean women too, or humanity in general. The great men or women that we honor. Okay, because sometimes with this English language, when we say man, especially me, I say I'm thinking about humanity. I'm not just talking about man, like just the male with the penis. I'm talking about everybody. Okay, all right. So you got to understand my lingo. I want to make sure you understand my lingo as clearly as possible. All right. That's why I edify myself before even getting back on to this subject, because this subject can be very complicated and you got to make sure you're thorough as possible when you're telling it. Because, yeah, I leave shit out by accident. I'm human. You know what I'm saying? I forget shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you just got to make sure that you're, putting forth that information, though. You know what I'm saying? Get it out there so we can have a profound conversation. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there I said it. Okay, number 43, law number 43, it says, let someone else come or choose the next step. There is no need to seduce anyone. Do not give people a decoy. Give them the real thing. If someone else's goal is attainable, help them attain it. Okay? Focus your energy outward. Allow others to lead the way. Let someone else choose the next step. Without need to reason or understand, our first urge is to help others in nearly any situation. Yeah, real heroes don't think about if they're going to save somebody. They just go out and do it. You get what I'm saying? If you want to help somebody, do that. Servitude is leadership, okay? When you serve people, that demonstrates and illustrates leadership, okay? If you're able to just go out and help people, you know what I'm saying, in a group or just by yourself, you can help people. That's very powerful, okay? Do that. You know what I'm saying? Do random or arbitrary acts of kindness and see how far in life that takes you. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, law 44, do not mimic or mirror others. Okay. I'm going to read all of this before I break this down because I disagree with this. Okay. It says, when something happens once, it is original. That's true. I actually agree with that. That's true. All right. When something is repeated, it feels like mockery or meanness. Not all the time. Okay. playing the part of the monkey or parakeet destroys your authenticity. That's not necessarily true. No, it depends on what it is. Okay. Comedy is indeed a reversal of power, but beware, all too often, is the means by which the status quo is perpetuated. It gives the illusion of it gives the people an illusion of catharsis or change, yet in reality, nothing is done. Okay, it's nothing wrong with mimicking or mirroring others. Like I told you before, Kobe mimicked Jordan, and then the dude named Michelle Rivera, who's a lightweight boxer, mimic Muhammad Ali. So that's not playing the part of a monkey or parakeet. Now, if you're purposely plagiarizing somebody's stuff, or if you're trying to take their work and try to say it's your own, now that's something different. Yeah, that destroys your authenticity. But if you're over here learning from this person and saying, yeah, I can rub shoulders with him because he can actually teach me something. There's nothing wrong with me taking Jordan's moves. If I want to be the greatest basketball player ever, I just got to study LeBron James or all the great people that came before me. If I want to be one of the greatest thinkers, I have to read the about the greatest thinkers. I have to study them, what they thought, and then be objective to that. See if I can be in the intellectual battlefield with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to look at these people and regurgitate their stuff. And all knowledge is regurgitated to come to think about it. Whether this person met this person in history or studied them or not, some way, shape, or form, that knowledge is going to come back again into fruition. You know what I'm saying? Because this man said something like it was one of the laws in here where where he compared Charles Bukowski and then Sushi. They were two different people from two different eras, but they had the same way of thinking. You get what I'm saying? And different backgrounds, but they still had the same way of thinking when it came to human affinity. You know what I'm saying? So nothing really is new under the sun. You get what I'm saying? So it's okay. You may indirectly or directly mimic somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because this stuff comes back around. What goes around comes back around. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing new under the sun. Again, there's an African proverb. Again, I'm gonna state this again. Every stream has its source, but I add to that. But every idea is not original. Okay, but no one idea is original. Every stream has its source, but no one idea is original. Okay, all right, and yes, and with comedy, it just depends. If you got a comedian or a comedian, which is a woman version that tells comedy, a woman that tells comedy or does comedy rather. If they are telling the truth and they're actually, like Chappelle, you got Monique, but you got other comedians, I ain't gonna name them. They work with the status quo to keep the same shit going and going and going. Like, yes, if they're doing that, if they're following the elitist agenda, then yes, we want to make sure that we're not a part of that. Okay, and we can understand which comedians are for us and which comedians are not. Okay, so we can tell which comedies is about the right and which ones are not. Okay, we can see the charlatan. We can see that. All right. So let's go to number 45. Actually, all right. Number 45 is a good state. It says number 45 says keep your promises. Okay. A good statesman keeps his or her promises to the people. A good relationship is based on trust. A dependable product lives up to its reputation. A reliable soldier, okay, is taught the virtue of fidelity. Keep your promises, okay? I've told this before to somebody and to some other people, is that before you teach a man geography, math, history, law, science, and all these different things, a person must know morals first. If you don't teach them morals, math, science, all this stuff, they can use that for unrighteous purposes. Okay, and we see that a lot. We see that happening in like the pharmaceutical industry. We can see that happening in Hollywood, in the hip hop. Okay, because you know the you haven't been taught morals. Okay, you have to have a moral compass. Okay, you must be able to keep your promises. That's why sometimes you get a politician or a rapper, or when they first come out, they be so engulfed into the people, they be for the people, and then as time go on, they allow the system to corrupt them and change them and turn them into something. The very thing that they hated and they was going against, they turn it. They turn into that. You get what I'm saying? So it's up to the people, grassroots people, to be like, you know what, you said you was gonna do this, you said you weren't gonna ever change, you said you was this way, and it's okay to keep our people on the accountability train or track. You get what I'm saying? And keep them responsible for their actions and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Keep them accountable with the 5 pillars: accountability, responsibility, honor, ethics, and integrity. Okay, so you must keep your word. All right, keep your promises with people. If you can't, if you're like he said in one of them earlier laws, if you are hesitant and you are wavering, don't commit. Okay, don't commit to shit if you all shaky about it. You know what I'm saying? You riding the fence. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You only hindering yourself and the other people around you. You know what I'm saying? Get to work. Stand by your word. Okay? Keep your promises. Okay? Law 26. It says, don't bother to contrive. Shrewd people want to contrive every detail. Why so? Clinging on or clinging to an unreality, planning an unreality, attempting to direct an unreality. Nature outstrips their attempts to control. Okay? Those who contrive are never satisfied. Always they are either too big or too small, too early or too late, too clever or too oblivious. Letting go of control, the reality of the situation opens up once more. Okay? Yeah, you don't have to be a control freak. That's what the person is pretty much saying. You don't have to control every little detail. Okay, that's when you become a fanatic or fanaticism. When you go to the extreme, you go to extremism. Okay, things of that sort. You don't want to be too rigid. You know what I'm saying? You want to be flexible a little bit. You know, sometimes it's good to surrender yourself to God or to the universe, or to yourself or to your own self, and let things just happen. Okay. Okay, I want to read something from the Crowd: A Study, A Popular Mind by Gustavo Levine, and this goes to this goes with the fact on don't bother to contrive, because this is how deadly this can be. Okay, this is an example of religion. Okay, it says religious sentiment. Okay, this sentiment has very simple characteristics, such as worship of a being opposed superior, fear of the power with which the being is credited, blind submission to his commands, inability to discuss his dogmas, desire to spread them, and a tendency to consider as enemies all whom they are not accepted. Okay, so we must understand that that's what happens. And I don't and I don't, the author in there is pointing out religious sentiments. I say that happens with a lot of isms of today, modern isms and philosophies and psychologies. That happens still today. People become ill or intolerant, or and they can't accept other, viewpoints. Okay, that's when society becomes dangerous. So we can't be so contrived in the details of what a book tells us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm reading from a book, but at the same time, I'm using my own common sense and my own reasoning first and foremost before anything. Okay, because I am the book before I even read the book. And then, the greatest thing, one of the greatest things on the planet is a tree. You know what I'm saying? And they have to chop a tree down in order for you to have a book. You know what I'm saying? So that's where all the knowledge comes from. The knowledge comes from the tree. That's why they call it the tree of knowledge, okay? Because people use the tree to make books, okay? So that's where we get our books from. And trees not only do that, but they also help us uh, get the correct oxygen, and we give it back carbon dioxide. Okay, so we have this reciprocity. We need to have the trees, and that's a part of acknowledging divinity and nature too. Okay, acknowledging that those things keep us alive. Okay, not some imaginary entity that we didn't have never seen, that we blindly just submitting to and accepting it, and being submissive to that. You can be submissive to that, but you can't be submissive to the realities and actualities of things. Okay, that says a lot about you as a person. Okay, or as an individual. Okay, so we have to be open in situations. Okay, we have to. All right. So we're going to number 47. Okay, do no harm. Okay, when there are when there are facts, why generalize? Chattering arguments are no good. I say do no harm, but harm still comes. Upright people do not live to accumulate. A contented person wants to give away everything. Power is reversed. When people decide to help and refrain from harm, power is nullified. When humans act without contention. Okay, so again, it goes back to human affinity, and go back to the very first law, which was reciprocity. Okay, reciprocity, simplicity, display clear intention, say what is necessary, contentment. Okay, retreat from the crowd, no shortcuts. All that ties back into that. Oh, doing no harm. Okay. All right. So let's go to the last one, which is, let's drum roll, please. All right. Drum roll, please. It says, even the tyrant knows me. Okay. Be cautious. Even a tyrant is familiar with my teachings. Even the criminal heeds some of my advice. Even the wealthy want to live my simplicity. Even the military uses my strategies. Even the Pope is reading me on the sly. Yet I am not, yet still I am not understood. My hidden jade is touched by only a few in the world. All these years later, my timid voice is echoed. All these years later, my strategy remains water-like and formless. No one can reverse it. That's why it's important. I'm going to end it with this. I'm going to say a few things and end it. It's important what Bruce Lee said, be water, my friend. That's what he's talking about, okay? Even your enemies, whether you know who they are or you don't know who they are, they're watching you, okay? They're always going to be watching you no matter what, because it's in their nature to do so, to keep up with you. You know, I'm going to use social media as an example. It's people on your page right now. They don't never like your shit. They don't never share it. They don't never do none of that. But they still lurk your page. They still keep up with you to see what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And those are your enemies. Those are the agent provocateurs and infiltrators. And those are the people that are trying to see. They're waiting on your downfall. Okay, but you show them, you rise to the challenge, like it says in these laws here. Okay, you rise to the challenge. You're prepared for it, and you're not foolishly going out to battle with no artillery or no techniques or no skills. Okay, so you're still going to do what you're going to do. All right. And he said, even his timid voice is echo. To me, I feel like the author is being too I don't like to say humble, but his voice is not that, timid, because if he had the guts and the bravery to do this is very noble of him to write his own version of this. You know what I'm saying? To combat the 48 laws of power. Okay. All right. So having said that, I want to say this real quick. You know what I'm saying? We got through this thing like We got through this thing by people like Steven or Shakur Stevenson when he went against that Robinson what was his name? Robinson something. Man, from 1 through 12, we got through this round. It was a stroll in the park, my people. Like I dodged a barrage of punches. I slipped all his jabs. You know what I'm saying? All the and when I'm talking about, I'm using this boxing analogy when I'm talking about how we went against the elites today. You know what I'm saying? I was Shakur Stevenson, and then the elites was Robson something, whatever his name was. Every round he tried to hit me, he couldn't touch me though. I was moving my feet. I had my chin tucked in. My defense was immaculate throughout every round. You know, when we got through every law, my defense was immaculate. He couldn't touch me. I dodged like let's see, I dodged like 20 punches in like 10 seconds. And then and let's talk about my offense today when we was reading through these laws. I made sure I was giving him everything off the jab, was jabbing him here, jabbing him there. I even switched from southpaw to right-handed. You know what I'm saying? I was making sure I was keeping my range. You know what I'm saying? I was even talking to him in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Telling him he couldn't hit. He swung like a sissy and everything. So we got through this fight with a breeze. You know what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali will be proud. You know what I'm saying? Intellectually speaking, I boxed him out. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't box me. The object of the game is to hit and not be hit. And I showed it rounds 1 through 12, like Shakur Stevenson. I always try to say Steven. I always try to say Steven Shakur at the end, like Shakur is his last name, but really Shakur is his first name. But I went through this round. I went through all them rounds. Man, he couldn't touch me. And then at the end of that fight, I ain't have a mark on my face. I ain't have a mark on my face at the end of the fight. So that's how we got through these laws today. We actually went through them and we succumbed everything that the opponent threw at us. And he couldn't hang with us and he couldn't touch us in the spirit of Obatala. So, well, having said all that, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. Until next time, AD, I'm out like a light. Peace.